Hi, Abraham. How are you?
Hi, Doc. How are you?
I'm doing fine.
I'm fine too.
I wanted to introduce everybody to you. We work together with an NGO to help the fish farmers in Zambia, the tilapia farmers in Zambia. And
Yes.
so today we have Mr. Abraham Moluko, who is a aquaculture You're a nutritionist, right?
Yeah, I'm a fisheries technician, stroke a nutritionist. Yes.
I'll have you introduce yourself. Tell me about you. Where do you work and what do you do?
Okay, thank you. My name's Abraham Muluku. I work for the Ministry of Fisheries and Livestock here in Zambia, and I'm based in one of the rural districts, Shangombo, in Western Province. And apart from being a fisheries technician, I also did nutrition science at the University of Zambia. So I am a nutritionist again. So I'm carrying two things.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, that's usually the case with an aquaculture scientist. You cover everything, but then you specialize in a few things. So I mean that's in our field how it is. So
Absolutely.
I'm curious to know about, tell me a little bit more about where you work, the fish farmers, they're small fish farmers, I'm assuming. So just tell me a little bit more about what you do in Zambia.
Okay. All right. Thank you. What we do in our districts where I'm working from, Shangombo is closer to the border with Angola, and it's a place that is prone to floods. Each time we have rain season, most of the people are affected by the floods. And
Right.
so, yeah, and then we do not have a natural water body as per se, because it's just a small stream that we share with Angola. And by so saying, we've been trying to promote aquaculture, trying to bring fish closer to villages and telling them that it's possible, because Shangombo is far from a gazetted river. I'm sure you've heard of Zambezi River.
Yes.
It's about 167 kilometers from Zambezi River.
Okay.
So now what we've been trying to do is to encourage people that we can find a way to harvest water during the floods. And the first thing, the places that are not flooded, we begin to bring the aspect of aquaculture by using borehole water. And then we expose that water to the surface so that it increases its oxygen levels. And that's the time when we fertilize the pond and then stock them. Of course, this place it's a sandy place, so we do use dam liners.
You use liners. Okay. So
yes.
Before you continue, so in Jamaica and in the Caribbean, we are exposed to hurricanes a lot. And so now with increasing climate change, we're seeing more and more hurricanes, and with that comes flooding. So how do you prepare for the flooding? Like what do you do in advance? Since it's something that recurs all the time, right? How do you prepare the fish farmers for flooding?
Okay. Usually when we are looking for high potential zones where we can encourage fish farming, we normally do it during rain season so that we get to know which places are flooded and not flooded. And then when we get those places, we are able to know which sites we can go and put our ponds and help the community by explaining to say, these other places, they are good for aquaculture development, but because we've seen they get flooded, it's not possible because they may end up losing the fish.
Right.
So with their understanding, and we bring in our technical know-how, we come to a point where they will agree to say, okay, it's possible that we can do aquaculture in places that are not affected during the time of floods. So these are areas that we choose.
Yeah.
Yeah, so these are
Okay.
places that we concentrate on.
So yeah,
Yeah.
so continue. I think that's a very
Oh
important
yeah.
point.
Okay.
Yes.
Like I was saying, it hasn't been easy for the people to acknowledge that it's possible to do aquaculture, because natively they are used to see fish from streams, and also to see fish from when floods have come, they come along with fish. So they'll
Okay.
be able to set traps and catch fish, but usually it's the catfish that they're able to get. And now, because of certain religion beliefs and other beliefs, some of the people don't take catfish.
Oh,
So so with the coming of aquaculture in line with what we are trying to promote, the breams, it's like the market is there. And so what we do is, there are other projects that are in line with climate change, like pilot for, there's a project called PPCR. So this project has been trying to work with us, trying to identify places where we can put ponds. Then they'll be able to do the costings of the borehole, and then do everything and help sustain such a project. And then we work with the community up to the point when they harvest. And just, I think 2 days ago, we were harvesting about in a certain place. I think the harvest was good. Our target, of course, was if we could produce fish closer to 350 grams, but we went far beyond our expectations. We were able to get breams going at 400 grams.
wow.
And yeah, 400 grams. And it's taken us 6 months. And we had to harvest the ponds. Of course, there are 8 ponds. They've harvested 3 ponds so far, and they
Okay.
are still continuing. Yeah. So this is the work that we are trying to duplicate in other places, and try to see and use this as something they can learn from.
Right.
And what we do when we stock the ponds, before we stock, rather, we explain to them to put up a committee that we work with, and then we train them from how a pond is supposed to be managed from the time we stock it up to the point of harvest. And then also we bring in the aspect of financial management, that it is a business, and it requires total dedication. So fish requires one who has a passion for it.
Right.
And apart from just it being reddish, it's able to give you money, which you can use to buy even other foods other than just fish, nutritious food. So in terms of food security, it will improve. And what we did, like this, one of the communities, we always taught them, you need to work with look at gender issue, get women involved.
Definitely.
And the youth involved. And it has really given us good results, because we worked it in that line. Apart from just training them, we had to ensure that everyone participated.
So what do you see? Do you see a difference between what men do or what women do? Is there a gender specific job involved in aquaculture, or can they do both? Can they both do aquaculture, everything in aquaculture?
I think what we did was to bring women closer, to say, we've taken it for granted that these are men-dominated jobs.
Right.
But women all over the world have arisen and are able to show direction that it is possible to do aquaculture business. And because when you walk through markets, you discover that it is the women that are selling fish.
That's
dry fish,
fresh
fish, it's the women who are involved. So we bring the aspect of, if you are involved in the sales, it's possible that you can also participate in the production. And because women, when they start something and they're well engaged, they participate actively, because they know the end use and what they get at the end.
Right.
And they've really participated very well. And I think there's just that zeal within them that it is possible we can do it, because they've just seen the good results, and there are just so many jubilations. In other places, we use that as something to learn from. because it was the first time that we were able to have such big harvest and to run such a viable venture like a fish farm of that nature.
That's excellent. So what about in terms of energy use? Do you have any issues with electricity, running pumps? How do you bypass any of those problems if you have any?
Yeah, okay. I think most of the areas where we are operating from, they are not connected to any source of power in terms of electricity. So what we normally do in different places, the focus is when they produce the fish, the issue of power comes in terms of maybe where they want to have refrigeration, where they refrigerate the products after harvesting. So what we normally tell them is prepare the market.
Mm-hmm.
When you prepare the market, have a list of people who want the fish and how many cages.
Okay.
So that the moment you harvest, you have
Mm-hmm.
already prepared transport to transport it to the township area.
Yeah.
Because where we are based, where our offices are based is we do have electricity, but our operational areas, they do not have
on the farms themselves.
So we help to create market for them to say the fish this side is ready, how many want fish, and for sure many of the people are very much interested in breams. So they would go and drive themselves and buy from there and bring to their refrigerators. And in other areas where transportation is difficult, we tell them to dry the fish, to smoke the fish, so that they are able to diversify what they are producing. In line, like in times where they have failed to sell all the fish, we always teach them how to process the fish, how to sort the fish, how to dry the fish using the sun, or smoke it.
Oh, okay.
So this is one portion which requires electricity that we do help them with if we do not have those facilities. Basically, what we rely on is just the natural way where we don't aerate the ponds. We ensure that the ponds are green enough so that there is that balance of dissolved oxygen in the pond.
Right.
We do not overstock the ponds, and ensure that the water quality is good, so that they do not encounter any problem. But we are blessed with the certain programs that have come, like PPCR through our government. You will discover that they will have a solar powered borehole that will pump water using solar. And in so doing, we do put, for security's sake, we put solar lights, and that will provide the just lighting in the night to ensure that their fish farms are safe.
So you got funding to provide solar powered lights, but not to aerate the ponds.
Yes, we've had a project called PPCR that was able to fund all that. Yes.
Okay, so it's just security. So do you have issues with security, like people stealing out of the ponds?
We've not experienced that before. You know, the village setup, people have respect for what is being brought.
That's great. Yeah.
And they hold these projects in high esteem. Say, this is our livelihood. This is a game changer in the way we live and perceive things. And so you will discover that it's just our conscience that in case they want to patrol in the evening, at least they don't step on snakes.
Oh, okay. The snakes you worry about, not people.
For their visibility, yes. Otherwise, it's fish farming here is in its infancy stage. And I think looking at the results that are coming out so far, a lot of people have shown interest, and we are seeing ourselves having so much work to bring so many people on board and ensure that we have fish closer.
How many years do you think you've been, when did this start, fish farming? How many years now do you think?
I think I would say I think about 5 years ago.
Oh, that's really
Yeah.
new. Wow.
Yes, there were some ponds that were being helped through the project under scaling up nutrition.
Okay.
Yeah, the most critical, the 1,000 most critical days. So we had Sun 1, we used to call it Scaling Up Nutrition 1.
Okay.
They really did the best and helped
Right.
people. And
Right.
it's a situation where people haven't been used to see fish closer in a pond,
Yeah.
but from
Okay.
streams and rivers. So now what is happening is quite interesting. They're able to see fish very close to them. And like I had said earlier on, it's a place that is prone to floods. So we've got other places where in the villages where people have identified places that have water that water that is able to be there for some time, for about 7 months. So we've been teaching them that you can take advantage of such, you don't need to construct a pond. As long as water is there and is available for a period that you can use to grow fish, you can utilize it. By the time the water, before it all completes disappear, you harvest your fish.
So the fish that grown in the wild, culturally in the streams, what kind of fish is it? Is it tilapia or is it another kind of fish?
Yeah, I think from the start of the programs here, we had started promoting tilapia, and we have tilapia, yes.
But in the stream, I mean, like when they have the floods and the fish that come in the floods, what kind of fish are those?
Oh, okay. Well, the fish that comes along with the floods, we have got, it's a mixture of fish. We've got tilapia renderi, you know, the red-breasted fish.
Oh, okay.
We do also have 3-spotted bream or Oreochromis andersoni. And I think we do also have, you know, bulldogs.
No, which one?
You know, they look like a dolphin, but they are small in size.
Okay.
I think we call them, I've forgotten the name. We used to call them malapterulas.
Yeah, send it to me after. Send me a picture after so I can see, and tell me what the name, so I can know which one that is.
Yeah, okay, I will do so. And then the ones that come in large quantities is the catfish.
But they don't like to eat catfish.
They don't. They will process and sell it.
Oh, who do they sell it to?
Traders. Yes, there are traders who come from other provinces. They come to buy. Yes, they take it to other places where it is sold.
Okay, okay, so that's very interesting. But did they at one point start raising catfish and then they decided not to?
No, this catfish just comes from different lagoons around that gets flooded, and also from some marshlands.
Okay.
So you find there are plenty of catfish. So they start to go along with the floods. So they'll be setting traps and catch them. Otherwise, some they do it, but others have looked at it as a good business. And they're able to process and sell.
So how did the tilapia catch on? Do they like the taste? I mean, culturally, do they like to eat it?
Yes, they say the tilapia from the ponds has a different taste from the tilapia they see from the natural waters.
Right.
Yes, possibly it could be because of the good nutrients that is given.
The soil, it's a soil, the water is, it's different from the wild.
Yes, and they say it's very tasty, and I've also tasted it. Is tasty actually.
How do you prepare it? How do you cook the tilapia?
The way we prepare tilapia usually sometimes would smoke it, or roast it, or after you remove the scales, you gut it. Then you sun dry it a bit. Then you put on cooking oil. You fry it. Sometimes we just boil the tilapia.
Oh, to make like a soup?
Yes.
You make a fish soup?
Yes.
Like in Jamaica,
do.
we make fish soup. We make put the different, I don't know if you have yam, do you know yam, like the tubers?
Yes, I know, yes.
Potatoes.
Yes.
Is it
Of course,
the
here we call
same?
it in Shima. Here we call it in Shima. We use maize meal.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Yes. So they do cook in Shima, but sometimes they would mix in Shima with the cassava meal.
Oh,
Yes.
okay.
And others they just use millet
Uh-huh.
or sorghum. So these are some of the cereals that are used for what we call Shima.
Shima.
Yes.
I
You've heard of it?
can't wait to travel to go there and taste some of the food.
Please visit Zambia.
Because you had a big
Visit
cookout that
Zambia.
day, right?
Yes. We'll prepare a nice meal for you. The Zambian way. It's the best meals. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
tell me about the nutrition work that you've been doing. So how easy is it to get feed? Do you have feed manufacturers around? How do you get fish feed?
Okay. In terms of fish feed, when a program is well funded, we do put an aspect of procuring feed from nearby towns. That's where these manufacturers are able to bring closer to those towns, and then we buy from there. And sometimes like those who are very far, we teach them how to make feed using locally available nutrients or foodstuffs that they're able to find, or they do farm in their farms. Then we teach them how to make in a simpler way. Of course, we do use Pearson square because it is simple for them. So they're able to maneuver around it and formulate feed. And then they're able to feed their fish, because getting feed from the manufacturers is expensive. Not everyone can manage.
Right.
And I think that's one aspect that scares most of the people if they want to engage into aquaculture. They do not have much knowledge on how to formulate feed at locally in their areas, so that they're able to feed the fish. At least they're able to at least try to come up with good results, also in like closer to the feed that is used from.
So the harvest that you just got, how did you feed those fish? How did you get such a good harvest?
Yes, okay. The harvest that we had, the fish was being fed. It was fed with the feed that came from the manufacturers. Because there are these procedures, at some point there was no feed, so we would teach them how to formulate quickly and feed it.
Okay.
Yes. Yeah. But in the end, we had, when 2 months before harvest, we had to ensure that we maximize the feeding and ensure that the fish builds up and increase in weight. So we had to work around the feed from the manufacturers, because it was catered for in the project.
Okay. So you have yet to do a little bit more experimentation to see results with the on-farm made feeds, or do you have any results with those on-farm made feeds yet?
We haven't yet gotten the results at the moment. We are yet to see from one of the farmers who is doing it in one of the places. Yes.
Okay, because that's a big problem with small farmers in developing countries. I mean, just the ability to get manufactured feed, it's so expensive. And now with COVID, the prices have
Yeah,
increased. So,
absolutely.
how do we solve this problem with feed?
Yes.
So that's the next
I think
phase, is trying to understand if the local ingredients can be used to satisfactorily get the results that you want with the manufactured feed.
absolutely. I feel we need to invest more on educating farmers, because these other things, they are quite easier for them to understand. For instance, getting to know a good site where they can put a pond, it is easier for them to understand.
Right.
When it comes to the aspect of feeding the fish, because it is key to the growth of the fish, the survival of the farm.
Yeah.
So it is one of the things I feel, I think we've tried our best, because even in places, these are places where there was no fish farming and it's now happening.
Right.
And we feel we need just to continue educating people on how they can easily formulate feed, and also encourage them on what types of crops they need to also continue growing.
They can grow on the side, start growing some of these crops.
Yes, they grow those crops so that they're able to give them those nutrients that we require to formulate feed. And I think this is one of the most important things that we need to engage. Of course, we are doing that, and we need just to continue and never get tired.
No, because it's a continuous process. It's something that you just have to keep going over the years.
Yes, because I've also discovered bringing change isn't an easy thing.
Right.
Because one would look at spending my time looking at the pond when I can go possibly in a short distance to a stream and catch fish. But the question is that we bring is, you don't know where you are going to catch, how much you catch, but you are assured of what you stock in your pond.
Right.
You'll be able to plan for what you have in the pond, how you can plan your monies and reinvest. It is easier to plan that way. And unlike to plan on a harvest you are not sure of, and also that competition where everyone wants to go and catch fish from the stream.
Right. Yes. I see what you mean. So the patience to just learn and understand what's going to happen, as opposed to just going to catch from the stream.
Yes. So what we do, we walk with them through and through, so that they don't get tired.
Yes. So you have to keep there, just continuously. Yeah.
Yes. You show them photos in places where they've harvested, and they'll be like, wow, I think I can also do it. And then we ask, if somebody has done it somewhere, I think you can do it. So this is how we've tried to manage here.
Do you have a lot of extension workers? I mean, for the fish farmers that you have, do you have enough people to go out and help them?
Yes, we do. Yeah, we do have
great.
manpower. Yes. Yeah, we're actually doing well.
So how often do you actually have to go on the farm, do you think, to keep them interested?
Every after 2 weeks.
Every 2 weeks.
Yes, if you fail, at least you get in touch by phone. And then our phones are 24/7. We always tell them, call. If there's a problem, call.
That's excellent. That's definitely needed for the industry to grow, to have the amount of extension on the ground helping them.
Yes. And I think the other thing we normally do is to easily learn their culture, and it becomes easier for you to, run around with them, roll around with them, as when they find it difficult, you're able to bring them, how to drive them, and extension service and our skills. So we are able to motivate them, and always focus on the final picture.
Right.
The final picture is you have good harvest, you will have good food at home, and you'll be able to plan. If you're able to harvest twice in a year, you'll be
Yeah,
able to plan very well your monies because you know what is coming. Apart
right.
from doing other agricultural activities, fish farming is, I've discovered that it is one of the simplest. I know despite its technicalities, it is
Yeah,
one of the simplest. If you just maintain good water quality and
right.
you have that relationship with the fish, it becomes easier for you to know that today the fish is not okay, today the fish is okay, today it is in high, in high mood, it wants to eat, today it doesn't want to eat, and also understanding seasons. Yeah, so with that passion, I think it has put us at it has put us somewhere where we feel I think we are getting somewhere.
That's a good what is it? It's a good way to look at it in terms of being in tune with your fish, being in tune with your
Yes.
farm, just knowing, clean water, good food, good water quality, and just paying attention. That's a
Absolutely.
that's a great way to look at it. That's once you get in tune with your farm, you have
Yes.
you could do quite well. What about
Yes.
diseases? Has there been any issues with that?
There was just one time when one cooperative, one farmers group experienced fish mortalities. And what we discovered was that they did not follow what we taught them.
Okay.
They overfed the fish to a point that some of the feed were not being eaten. So they would sink to the bottom and begin to decompose.
Okay.
So the water quality was not okay. There was so much biomass. The water
Wow.
was just something else. Yes, the water was just something else. Where a search disk would would disappear the moment you just put it in water. I think within
Yeah.
I think about I would say 15 centimeters.
Couldn't see
You can't see
anything.
it. It's completely disappeared. And we realized that the fish started competing there was not enough oxygen.
Right,
Because
right. So it's just it's management. So that's
yes,
controllable. So are you
yes.
making sure to put in place as you grow more biosecurity so to prevent diseases coming onto the farm or
Mhm. So like for our colleagues, what we realized was the fish was found dying in the morning. So it was showing signs of gossiping. So we
okay,
realized that the pond was not well balanced.
right.
So we had to put two lines. Could it be the first line? Could it be that there's too much fish? It started breeding and it is overstocked now? Or could it be that there's little oxygen? But we realized that there was not enough oxygen that caused the fish. But we've not experienced again that kind of a situation. We had to control it
That's great.
through proper management. Yeah.
That's fantastic. This is so exciting. So
Yes.
this is very exciting for you every day to see the progress that
Yeah.
has happened in 5 years.
Yes. Yes. Yeah.
So you've
So we
managed
are.
to overcome a lot of some of the problems that small farmers possibly in other developing countries in terms of energy, electricity, safety, food, transportation. So, and having a good amount of extension officers who can go out and be with the fish farmers. That's I think one of the key things for getting more success.
Yeah. You are right. The things that you've pointed out are quite key. Issues to do with transportation, to transport fingerlings, to transport feed, to transport the products or the fish when they've harvested. Yeah. And I think where we are, we have access to our farmers. And they do produce, you know, where places that get easily flooded, most of the places are quite fertile, and they
Okay.
are able to grow different foodstuffs. It's just that there's just that passion where you feel like, I wish we could grow different food products so that we increase the nutrient,
Right.
so that the feed that we formulate is nutrient dense.
Right.
Yeah, but otherwise, all in all, I can say, of course, in the rural areas, there are these problems, but I think our the department has been doing very well. We are well staffed, and we are meeting our farmers by phone. This time there's network everywhere. So we are
that's
able
great.
to
I
have
was going to
access.
ask you about that, the technology. Do the farmers have cell phone access?
Yes. Yes.
That's
They actually
great.
trouble us. They actually trouble us. Yeah, because they have access to communication, to communicating with us. So it has kept us in tune and good tune with our colleagues.
Right,
And
right.
just the way we work as a department, I think we are doing very well. There's strong
excellent.
teamwork. There is a strong teamwork where you don't understand, you ask your colleague, where you feel like, I think this is not going right.
Yeah.
We find it easy to interact and move along, because our goal is to ensure that fish farming becomes one of the best farming or activity that they can venture, and they find it profitable.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Find it profitable and reduce malnutrition levels and increase food security, and also a source of income.
Yes,
so
exactly.
Please, we can, it's something that we can do, because it's happening well in other places, so we can do it.
Right.
Yeah. So most
This
of these
is so
problems
exciting.
that are encountered, we are able to maneuver. We have trust in ourselves that we are well trained to handle aquaculture programs.
What I saw when I worked with you, I was very, very impressed with how everyone was really interested and just wanted to learn more about aquaculture. And it's in its early days, so like you said, it's just to continue keeping the interest going. So what do you see? What do you see for the next 5 years?
What I see in the next 5 years to come, I see a situation where most of the people, they would want to have small ponds around their yards, just to have that attachment with fish. And others may want to venture into aquaculture, apart from it being like a recreation place.
Yeah.
People like going with the hook, line and
exactly.
Hook. Yeah. And these are some of the programs we're trying to encourage them, that people can be coming with families to spend time to just look at the fish, because they do not have time to go nearby a stream or a river because of crocodiles, hippos.
Oh my gosh, crocodiles and hippos.
But to go and see the fish, you can't go near a river to see the fish, but you are able to see the fish, just as we raise broilers, the chickens. We are also able to raise fish in that way.
Right.
Yes.
There was I spoke with
we see more people getting engaged. Yeah.
I spoke with a fish farmer in Jamaica, and that's what they do on her farm, is they made it an attraction where people can come and fish, and then and then they cook it for them. So
absolutely,
that's another business venture. That's how exciting.
Yes. No, that is very true. I think most of the government workers, they are very much interested, because they have the buying power. These are the people that buy from the farmers.
Right.
So they are also saying, I think we can be engaged in aquaculture business.
Which is what,
so
that's
you would
good.
see it from how they visit our office to ask, so what do I need to do to start also this kind of business?
Wow.
So ask, okay, you need to have land that has access to water, You need to have a bit of some money to do this and that, have ponds constructed, enough water, fertilize your pond, buy fingerlings, and then start, rearing your fish to the
Right.
point of harvest.
And
Yeah,
with your help, they'll be successful.
absolutely. We cannot fail. We cannot fail. We have a very strong supporting system here in our department. We have a very strong supporting system in our department. And they always check on us, and we are doing well because we are in line with what we need to do, our vision and our mission.
Right. Yeah. Well, Abraham, this was amazing. I really enjoyed chatting with you and learning more about all the way in Africa, in Zambia.
Oh, yeah. Yes.
Which has, a lot of similarities with the Caribbean.
Yes.
So it's nice to learn about what you're doing and what's possible for starting only in 5 years, what you've accomplished so far and what you're doing. So I wish you all the best, and I know we'll be in touch. I think we froze a bit, so I'm going to say goodbye and get back to you again.